guess we're gonna do another one just to show you guys. So we're back to work on the 240. I gotta make a lot of brackets. I have to mount the radiator today. I have to mount the oil coolers today. Do the up pipe for the. We're not gonna run it, so it's gonna be out the hood, out the no hood because it has no hood. So just out the top. Just make a bunch of brackets and weld a bunch of shit while we wait for the rest of the parts to show up. So we have a lot of welding to do. So just gonna go ahead and show you guys all we have to do and then start welding. Alright, so I kind of got ahead of myself already and made these brackets to hold the top of the radiator to the chassis. I just have to drill the holes and then put the nut certs. I still have to make the brackets for the bottom. Right now it's just being held up by the jack. So I'm just gonna go off of here since we already have bolt holes right here. So probably just go from the side of the radiator to here. Same thing the other side. I'll probably just knock out the up pipe since we have the flange for it now. You guys probably didn't see before, but we put the front end completely on the car now just to make sure I have enough clearance for the oil cooler. So this needs to come off, this needs to come off, these need to come off, or basically half of it needs to come off so I can fit an oil cooler here and then an oil cooler here. So I'm just gonna put the camera down, start cutting all these brackets that were on the car off, and then figure out how I'm gonna do the new brackets. That one's already done. I showed you earlier, just re-welded it again, and then I made these. Had to bend the metal so it fits nice on the radiator and around the steel, so that's all in there. It's on here too, welded, so everything's welded. Super solid now. Now I'm just gonna move on to the oil cooler brackets. I'll take this off, take all these off, and figure out how to mount the oil coolers. And the easiest part I'm gonna save for last, which would be just doing the basically the up pipes. This is already fabricated, it's gotta weld it. Gonna knock this out real quick and then keep on making more brackets. In the cooler shop today, you're gonna see a little mock-up of how I kind of want to do the end tank. I want to wrap it around the pipe and just basically have it really close to the kit and come that way so it's kind of clean. To have it sit up here like flush, I am gonna have to make a little spacer here and attach it to the radiator so it's not just rubbing on the radiator and makes a hole in it. Pretty big ass intercooler to cool the car down because we are planning on trying to push 700 to the wheel side of this engine. As you see the big turbo, everything's like, it's made big for a reason. We're trying to push a lot of power to this car. I started mucking up the oil coolers. So the oil cooler's gonna sit right there. It clears the bumper. I try to make it symmetrical, but you can kind of see this is not straight at all. But on the top, I try to make it as straight as I could. So now I'm just gonna, now that I have these wires pretty much holding the oil coolers where that, I gotta make a bracket from here to here and here to here because there's no space to do it down there. And over here, I'm just gonna end up cutting this because I don't see like a way to put a bracket down here without hitting the bumper. So I'm pretty confident that with this mount right here and that mount, we should be solid. We'll see once I make these mounts, we'll see. I'll pull them around, make sure that I'm gonna hit. And I need to keep clearancing this a little more. I need to clearance this up here and a little up here. You can see I took out a lot of it already out just to kind of clearance for the oil coolers, but it still needs a little more. Enough talking, I'm gonna make these brackets and show you guys when it's done. All right, so this is what I was talking about, how this is not that straight. Look at the gaps. So I'm gonna have to do a crazier bend, basically do a bend in and out to kind of S it into this pipe. And here is just like a simple bend in and wood onto there. So I knew I was gonna deal with that, but I'd rather have it 100% straight on the top. And the bottom is gonna be covered by the bumper, so you won't really see how bent this rod actually is. I didn't do this, I'm just making it look better. So, all right, so I got the bracket bent. I got too crazy, didn't need that much of a bend. So Cinder Perfect just gotta tackle that now. Easy way to do it if you guys don't have a press, it's just literally put it in a vise. Straight like that, hammer it a little bit, you're done. Like I got this vise from my dad. It was super rusted, it wouldn't work, and I literally just watched a YouTube video how to take it apart and put it back together. I was basically able to fix it, and it's super smooth now, and it's way better than half of the shit that's still out there any of these. So I was trying to keep the same style mounts he has all over the car. So I kind of just did these little washer, holds it on place. The bottom's on. They're both good. So now I'm just gonna weld this up and then test to see how strong they actually are. All welded up. Not going anywhere. So now this is done, I can move on to welding the up pipe. You can see it's already there. It's already clocked, tack welded. Should be an easy weld. I'm probably just gonna put it a little higher so it's not touching there. I just got one thing I need to do is figure out where I'm gonna put the O2. If you don't put it in the right spot, you are gonna have issues with it. So I'm thinking the easiest spot, I don't know where the easiest spot would be at just because of how short the runner is. Just because we don't have time to make a full exhaust before Sema. And his exhaust is already too small, so we have to do a whole new 4-inch away to the back. For now, this will do. Just gotta figure out where the temporary bung for the O2 will go. After that, just weld it all up and one less thing to do in the car. So I've been knocking out a lot of things super fast just because I'm a little nervous. The days are coming down. We only have about a week left to have the car done. This needs to be done, and this car needs to be done by the 14th. We're on the 5th, and we're missing a lot of parts that haven't shown up because everyone's building their ship for Sema last minute as well. So there's a lot of parts out of stock, and we're missing the whole fuel system, all the plumbing for the oil lines and the water lines. So it's kind of looking rough right now. But as far as fabrications, I might knock everything out. So the least of our worries is like last minute I have to do all the fuel lines. Not that big of a deal, as long as I have all the fabrication done. One thing we are missing are the 3.5-inch piping for the intercooler, and I need that before I start making the end tanks for the intercooler. So need that to show up ASAP. We did pay overnight shipping. Hopefully it actually comes through, because if not, then I don't have anything else to do in this car since we're waiting on fittings, lines, and aluminum piping. So we have a little downtime of waiting for some parts to show up, and it's a weekend. So I thought I might as well just whip out the old tube bender and make some hard lines. We keep having issues with lines melting because of how the turbos get, so now I'm gonna start just putting hard lines on the oil feed and wastegates. And I'm gonna use, on this car, we're gonna actually end up using stainless lines, so they're harder to bend, harder to straighten out. They're not as easy to work with, but they look way better. So you can tell I kind of already started making the line. Trying to hide it so you don't really see it too much. It's hiding behind the turbo. And it's gonna sit right there. We're putting our Turbo Smart regulator for the turbo. So it's gonna sit it right there, make a bracket right there. Just gotta cut this pipe here and then put a flare on it, and we're good to go. So for this line, it's a little harder because you can't really bend the stainless that well. So you only do one flare, you don't do a double flare. With one flare, the fitting still fits in there, it feels pretty good. So it's not like it's gonna hurt it. It's just that you cannot do a double flare on a stainless line. It's impossible, pretty much. Easiest way to use this is basically just put in the correct dowel for the line you're using. It is a 37-degree flare. That's what you need for brake lines. So we're gonna use the flat piece first to push it straight. Make sure to see it where it needs to be at. Then tighten the shit out of this. And we just go for that flare. Let's see if you can kind of tell when it's doing it. That's it. It's super easy when you have the right tools. It's super easy, but I have to redo it again because I forgot to put this in the line. I'm an idiot. Luckily, I made sure a little bit too long, so cutting that little piece off is not really gonna hurt me. That's the shitty part about making lines, is that if you're gonna put these in, you basically have to do the line over again. All right, so line's done. You see it tucks around the turbo, keeps everything hidden back, so it doesn't really stand too much in the way. I ain't gonna redo that line because you see the kink that it has on it. I don't like that, so I'm not redo that line, but I just wanted to make sure I basically can get the angle that I wanted to. So now that that's done, I'll do that later. I'm just gonna now tackle the wastegate lines, which is same material, same hard line. But I'm just trying to figure out where am I gonna put the boost controller. Right here, over here, just somewhere that's not really too far in the way, so I can hide the boost controller and you don't really see the lines. First lines are made. I wish it would have been spaced a tiny more this way, just so it looks better. But boost controller's back there. It's gotta make a bracket over here to hold it there. I can't do this line until I do the inner core piping, so I know where the turbo's gonna be clocked at. I need to tap the turbo and then make the line from the turbo to that bottom part of the actuator, or just go from here. The only difference is that the weight, basically the boost control is gonna see what the engine sees, not what the turbo is pushing. So I mean, it doesn't really hurt it, but let's say if you want to run like 20 pounds, by the time you see 20 pounds here, this thing is about making like 25, 26 pounds. So I think I might run it there. I'm not sure yet. Just gotta see. It will look cleaner if I just go straight down and into there than having it come from the front and around into the back. It won't really affect it too much, so I might just do it from the back and not have to worry about doing the front one. All right, so I ended up going from the back, so I just made it go straight down around the column. It doesn't touch. And right there. So just gonna make a little bracket to hold it up right here. You can see the lines don't touch. And we're good to go. This is getting removed, so don't worry about this, but mostly worry about the wastegate. So I went fishing with my buddy Richie. Didn't catch shit, so I came home a little frustrated. Cut this line because I didn't want it to be seen at all. Ended up running it down that way and around, so it's way cleaner now. Looks way better. So that's it for today. I'm super happy with the line, how it turned out now. Next one will be just redoing this one little line that I might get to real quick, and I'll be done with hard lines for today. So I ended up going for the back of the other housing instead of the front of the turbo. That way it looks way cleaner. And now with the linear line, it looks super clean now. All right, I made a little bit of a mess, but turned this into this so I can make a oil filler in this car. So I am gonna baffle it still, but I'm just gonna do it on the pipe itself instead of the flange, just so we don't have issues with putting oil in the car later on. Because you baffle the shit out of this, when you go put oil, get it to spit back, and you basically get oil over the engine. Not bad. Took me about 10 minutes to make this from this. So let's get to work now.